see a world in a grain of sand and heaven in a wild flower, to hold infinity in the palm of your hand and eternity in an hour. These are the words of the famous English poet William Blake. You know, Hanukkah is unique among all of our holidays in two striking respects. Number one, only on Hanukkah do we have a mitzvah of Pirsumei Nisa, to publicize the light of the menorah and the miracle of the oil. We don't put a matzah in the window of our home on Passover. We don't wave a lulav and an esrog outdoors on Sukkot, nor do we blow the shofar from every rooftop on Rosh Hashanah. But we do exactly that on Hanukkah. We light the menorah outdoors or at the window. Chances are that a large public menorah is illuminating your neighborhood and your city. Number two, only on Hanukkah do we not refrain from engaging in mundane and secular work and activity during the holiday. These 2 points capture the profound core of Hanukkah, tune into a powerful idea from the great Hasidic masters. You see, when the first holy temple was destroyed, the Talmud says the sages successfully prayed that God destroy our craving for idolatry. Since that time, we don't really understand what was the intense drive that all of mankind had to idolatry. It's like trying to explain to a 3-year-old why people go crazy about money. They just don't get it. While many nations externally continue to worship idols, after 587 before the Common Era, the year when the first temple was destroyed, their pagan worship was much more cultural. There was no longer an authentic life and death passion, a real profound zeal and drive to idol worship after that date. Since 587 before the Common Era, the threat to mankind, including the Jewish people, started to switch. Our problem since then is not that we perceive too much spirituality in physical objects as the pagans did, but that we struggle to perceive any spiritual vitality in anything at all, including human life. You see, for the pagans and idol worshippers, physical trees, animals, stones, rivers, birds and stars were the gods speaking and communicating. People were demigods. They saw the divine in everything and everywhere, but failed to attribute it all to a singular infinite source. The Greeks came along and turned God into an abstract idea. God was now some powerful celestial object, not a living presence pulsating through your sinews and bones, through every cell and atom and neuron. The world was reduced to a place of ideas. If reason and science cannot measure something, then it doesn't exist. Now, since a scientist cannot detect any material, molecular, or physical difference between a married woman and a single woman, between the 6 days of the week and the Sabbath, between a chicken that has been slaughtered kosher and one that was not, between oil that is pure and oil that is impure, then such distinctions simply don't exist except in our own unenlightened religious imagination. Therefore, the Greeks had no interest in destroying the Bet HaMikdash, the Holy Temple, like the Babylonians or the Romans. They merely wanted to prove that it was nothing more than a secular edifice, a museum, a cultural center. This is the view that literally nothing is sacred. Even something that may appear to be holy, to be Kodesh, is really mundane. It's just a functional machine, like many of the radical secularists think today. The victory of Hanukkah against radical secularism represented the opposite truth. They said everything is mundane, everything is empty. And Hanukkah said, no. When you light a candle, when our everyday life and our physical bodies and the physical world are illuminated by the light of Torah, we can perceive that what could initially appear to be mundane is really holy. Every inhale and exhale is an encounter with the divine flow of life. Every cell is a divine miracle. Every bite of food is a spiritual experience. Every move we make and breath we take is an opportunity for intimacy with the divine. God lives in us and through us. Every leaf, worm, bird, fish proclaims the glory of God. Each of us is an indispensable note in a cosmic symphony of bliss and love. Every neuron, sinew, artery in your body is a channel for infinite light. That is why we precisely place the menorah on the outside. We bring the light of Hanukkah into the public domain, into the mundane material world. We take it out of the private oases of our homes and bring it outside, and we don't refrain from engaging in secular work on Hanukkah, because when you kindle the light of Torah, we can then see that this physical world, created out of infinity itself, is actually all sacred and holy. Every moment of your life is divine. For the Greeks, there was nothing holy. Even that which appears holy, they said, was really mundane. Hanukkah teaches there is nothing that is really mundane and empty and vain. Even that which appears mundane is holy and sacred. You are holding infinity in the palm of your hand. Happy Hanukkah.